So today I'm going to clean up a rear end that a customer built. Not saying I did a bad job, could have done a little bit better fitment, but we're going to try and save it and make it look good, real good. So here's what we're working with. I'm going to try and clean it up best I can. Grind that top ledge down. Kind of went over a little bit there. I'll try and grind it down, put a groove in there, bevel it out a little bit, weld it back up. Kind of clean up some other areas, see what I can do here. It's gonna be kind of a pain seeing that's already in there, but we'll see what we can do. Alright, I'm gonna try and get my grinder and my backer brake. Build me a little cap here, got it right there. I'm gonna set it in there, got it beveled, weld it up, grind her down, see how it turns out. So we're a few hours in, still not perfect, but it's definitely looking a lot better. Got a big ridge knocked down, got everything kind of squared off, cleaned up this area here, some kind of rough cuts. Did do my cap, I don't know if I showed you guys that or not. I'm gonna go in there and clean it up a little bit. So now we got the top side kind of smoothed out, we're gonna start working on the bottom. Luckily he had used some square tubing down here, so that'll give us a good straight edge to go off of. Basically I'm gonna cut this lip off, put a gouge in there like I did before, weld it up, grind it down, smooth it out, see what we can do. So we're about to get started on this trunk project. Apparently got a lot of bugs making a bunch of noise too. The owner had built a battery rack. Not saying he did a bad job, he's kind of experienced, new to this, he wanted to tackle it, so that's pretty good. I'm all for people wanting to do stuff themselves, at least try it out, It's not bad. I don't even say it's not bad at all, especially for a beginner. He had a flux core welder, which I'm not a fan of. They don't make the prettiest welds. I've been welding for a long time, and I can't weld good with a flux core. Well, this is a gas flux core. I can tear them things up. But yeah, this is a non-gas flux core, something probably like Harbor Freight that you get. It can get the job done. It usually takes a little bit of prep work afterwards to make it look as clean as you want it. But I've seen some people do some killer work with it. But he's seen the battery racks I was building. He said, "Hey, dude, I want it to look like that. I want it to be super strong." Because I kind of pointed out some issues that could be a concern, and I don't want him to have any issues, possibly burning the car down or anything like that in the future. And he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take your judgment. Let's rip it out. Let's do something nice." So that's what we're gonna do. Let's get to it. All right. So I'm gonna attempt to move this battery rack by hand. I've seen some questionable spots where I think I might be able to do it, but we're gonna see for science. Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna happen. There's one spot's held pretty good. Let's go confident. She's all mine now. Probably shouldn't do this. This is really gonna kill my back. Yeah, it's definitely gonna kill my back. So show. I am freaking insanely strong. This is one of those points where if you're not really an experienced welder, you really should use your best judgment. If you're confident in your work. Obviously I would do a test piece, try it out, see if it's strong enough, because this is one of those points where you don't really want something to fail. So I guess I need to stop, kind of take a break, bring you guys up to speed. I'm just keeping it kind of ghetto on this rig, I guess. I don't know. I mean, you know, I got some stuff rigged up here. This is terrible. Everyone asks me if I have enough clamps. No, I don't. Pretty much everything's clamped together. The only thing I did, I tacked that. Just kind of trying to see if it's where I want everything. The racks are 2 different directions too, as far as that way. So pay no attention to that. But yeah, just kind of getting a feeling for it. I got the racks up a little bit higher than what I normally would. I'm kind of happy with that height. I'm like 98% sold on it. I got to get it this way a little bit better. It's not even. It's level. That's really good. Especially seeing as like literally everything's sitting in here. I did tack my stands to the frame in the back. They're just kind of hanging there in the front. That's why I tacked that, because that's level. Want to keep that. But yeah, like literally everything's just kind of sitting in here. That's why I got the blocks. Nothing really wanted to balance very good. I don't really have enough material to stack stuff up. It's just kind of being a pain, really. It's just killing my back. Not fun. So, you know, it looks like I'm making pretty good progress here, but what really sucks is the owner cut those holes. I didn't cut them that big, but I do need to go forward just a hair, because otherwise that's going to squeak, and that will fix my issue of this way. So everything pretty much has to come back out, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah, I kind of knew everything was going to come back out. That way I could get in there and weld down to the frame really good. Luckily I have a big gaping hole there to, you know, have easy access. But yeah, just kind of wanted to take a stopping point, maybe prolong this inevitable thing from happening again. But yeah, pretty much just going to rip everything out and cut me a little hole in there. I think that side's good. And kind of put everything back in and tack it. You know, make sure I like where everything's at, tack it, kind of pull everything back out again, fully weld it to the frame. I could probably weld it to the frame with everything in there. I'll see how it goes. I'll see how comfortable I am. Comfort is king when it comes to welding. So I'm going to put the camera down and get back to work, I guess. Alright, wasted enough time procrastinating. Nothing to it but to do it, I guess. So yeah, start pulling everything out of here. Much as I do not look forward to that. But it is what it is. When I get done, I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Crawling up to the house to my back so messed up I can't walk. Okay. Alrighty then. Got my legs all tacked together. Pull some of this stuff out here. If you noticed, I'm not doing a time lapse because I figured I'd BS a little bit while I'm doing that. Which, kind of a lot for me because I like listening to music. Hence why I do all the time lapses, because I got music jamming all the time. But, yeah, it feels great. Figured I'd just yak a little bit. What are you guys up to today? What you're working on, what you're building. I mean, obviously, I know what you're up to because you're watching me. But you can leave a comment down in the comment section. Let me know what you're working on. Always dig seeing what everybody else is building. Kind of keeps me motivated, if you will. Keep stuff going. Got a bunch of builds lining up. Kind of need to start knocking stuff out. But then I get stuff like this where I'm just like, yeah, I don't like that. Let's pull it all back out. Let's try again. Yeah. That wasn't so bad. Usually never is. Alright, I'm gonna cut the hole, put everything back in, go from there. Can one guess that song? I bet you can't. Can't do it. Can't do it. You gotta keep the air moving, keep it cool. You gotta keep the music going and keep it moving. Bring you guys along so I keep moving. Bye. And like clamps, everyone asks me if I have enough levels. No, I do not. Perfect, but I do now. Hopefully you guys get that's a joke. I actually put it this way, and then I found out it was a little unlevel, so I had to move everything all back around. That was a terrible decision to do, but it's all good now. So I'm gonna start tacking my legs in, and probably pull this back out, fully weld it, put it back in, go from there. So far I'm pretty happy with it though. Alright, so finally got the rack where I was happy with it. I actually dropped it down 1 inch exactly. Everything seems to fit good, so I'm happy with it. Got it all welded in. Still got to build a little rack down there and a little rack down there. We're going to put the 7th and 8th battery down there. That's how we wanted it, so that's how we're going to roll with it. Still got to build our pump rack. I'm probably going to wait on that until I do my cylinder holes. That way I can get up there and drill, make it a little bit easier on me. So I'm getting ready to break my upper ball joint. I'm going to film this side because it's the bigger side of the shop, potentially less dangerous. If I remember correctly, Lincolns, you can drop the lower A-arm all the way and easily take the spring out. You don't really have to fight it like you do a Cadillac. So we're going to find out if it doesn't go that way. I'd rather do it on this side of the shop. Like I said, it's a little bit bigger, safer to get to. So what I'm going to do, got my jack under the lower A-arm, got the spring compressed, the frame's still on a jack stand there. Don't have it up that high, but I do have tension on that spring, and I remove pressure from this upper ball joint. About to take that out. That is a 19 millimeter. You just unthread it from this side, push it through, and then we get a pickle fork stick in there, pop my ball joint, and then I'm going to slowly lower my jack. I got my sway bar link, I just cut it because we're not using it. Got my brake caliper off too, so that's out of the way. Took my shock out, that was the very first thing I did, obviously. But yeah, we're going to start lowering that slowly, and should just take the tension off it, and I can just pull the spring right out. If all goes as I remember it does. Alright, so they do still have a little bit of tension on it. Good to remember. I want to say the last one, drop the arm down and just pull right out. But yeah, springs are very, very dangerous, if you didn't know already. Ask me how I know. Yeah, almost lost some digits to the spring. Wasn't fun. As you might have seen, I was kind of off to the side. I used my trusty shovel. For some reason, that's always worked, so I keep a shovel around for that. Yeah, just stick it in the bottom, pop it right out of the coil pocket. When I lower the A-arm, I stand off the side. I was literally like standing right here, and pockets up there. So yeah, definitely stand to the side just in case like the jack slips or something like that. A-arm comes crashing down, spring comes flying out. You know, it can get dangerous real quick, so keep that in mind. So this is what we're looking like. You got the spring out, obviously. I'm gonna go ahead and tackle that lower ball joint. You can take it off beforehand, either or. It ain't really gonna matter. Actually, all honesty, I'm going to probably leave that on there because I'm replacing the lower arms also. Just a little bit less work to do maybe. I don't know. I might break them apart. We'll see. I'll probably break them apart because I might wrap those lower arms later on. Won't have to fight with that. Yeah, I'll probably do that. Alright, so now we run into the topic of A-arms. Just pulled this one off the frame that I got from Struggle Love. Tell you what, let me clean it up in the parts washer just a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. Who would have known they had gold A-arms on it? How about that? These are Cadillac A-arms, if you didn't already know just by the shape of them. You can put them on Lincolns. They bolt right up, believe it or not. Crazy, I know. But what you got to do, take your stock Lincoln A-arm, push the bushings out, or do like I do, just get new bushings. They're cheap, and the time that you're going to aggravate yourself with pushing the old ones out to put them in these, you know, that time is money, and that money, these are cheaper. But anyways, just push those in, more or less what I did. Pushed it in, held it up to the frame, pushed a little bit more, held it to the frame, pushed it up, held it to the frame, you know, to get them just right. You can't go too far, you can be out too far. So kind of something you got to play with. If you're taking it to a shop, bring them your stock arms with your stock bushings in it, or get a measurement or something. You'll thank yourself later. But the main problem we run into on these things, this is just a factory Cadillac ball joint. That's why it looks so good. When you do a Lincoln, you can do, I mean, one of few options really. You can get spoons. Normally when you do spoons, they put a 2500 Chevrolet ball joint in there. It's bigger. The bolt pattern's bigger. Back in the day when I built Tony's Lincoln, I used 2500 ball joints. One of the main reasons why, I will show you. All right, this is a Lincoln spindle of a 94. That right there is a hole. It's just a hair over 5/8. So that would still be at 5/8. Caliper turned off. But yeah, you can see that's a lot of play there. Actually, you can probably see better. You can see that's a lot of play. And the 2500 ball joint is a lot thicker. Will it fill the void completely? I don't really remember, to be honest. I want to say it gets really, really close. But what I did, I got a tapered grinding stone for like a die grinder kit, and more or less made a taper. That was a long time ago. Now I'm a little bit more professional, a little bit more educated. I would go to the tool truck and I would buy a reamer that has that taper. Don't know what the taper is off the top of my head. I'd have to do a bunch of measurements and stuff like that to figure it out. But they do sell them. There are things you can get, and you can actually chuck it up in a drill and basically just taper that hole out. Now, with that being said, I've seen Black Magic sells, they sell a ball joint and a sleeve setup. I don't think they sell the sleeves themselves. From what I can tell, I haven't used that product, but from what I can tell, it is a 2500 ball joint with a sleeve machine to kind of take out that taper, basically going from small to big, you know, which is a really good idea. I wish I would have known that a long time ago, or I wish I would have had access to machining. You know, I kind of would have built something like that, but they kind of did the hard work for you there. Haven't used it, so I can't say how great it works. I mean, it is Black Magic, so it should be pretty good stuff. You know, fabrication is pretty well on point. But yeah. So you might be asking yourself, why do I have a Cadillac ball joint in here? Well, I have the passenger side put together. He has high lockup ball joints. These right here. And they are stock Cadillac bolt holes. I'm not a fan of these. I never have been. Ever since they first come out, I was like, it kind of looked ridiculous to me, honestly. Granted, that look has grown on me. I just don't like the whole safety factor of them. You're putting like a 8-inch bolt through this thing, you know, a 5/8 grade 8 bolt. When you stretch stuff, it makes it weaker. Ball joints are already weak as hell, and you're stretching it out, putting more force on something. It's just, that ain't really my cup of tea. But you know, this is a customer's request. That's what he wants. So, I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's the more common thing nowadays. You know, it's the trending thing, I guess you go with. I'm just old school when it comes to that. But the problem I'm having, I'll take you over to the other side of the car and kind of bring you up to speed of what I got going on. So I'm going to get ready to put the spindles on. He's got extended ball joints, which I'm not really a huge fan of. But yeah, that's one reason I'm not a huge fan of them. That's a lot of play. I mean, granted, this thing is going to get sandwiched, and it may help out on that, but yeah, I think your suspension going up and down, that's just going to make things worse. So, what I did, I machined me a little bushing. I'm no professional machinist by any means, but I can get by. I'm going to press that in there, and that will be a nice, snug fit. So that should take a lot of play out. Alright, we got high lockup ball joints, which I'm not really that big of a fan of. They got the uniballs, those are cool. But the problem I'm running into, this is fully locked up right here. I still got room up here, obviously room up here. I'm pretty sure I've had more travel out of a stock extended Cadillac arm than what I'm getting out of this. This is in a bind right here. The arm has room to go down. That ball joint on the bottom has room to articulate more. This one does not have room to articulate. And the reason I'm believing is, you see that little bevel right there? From what I can see in the back, that is bottoming out. And what I'm thinking of doing is pulling that misalignment shim out and cutting that bevel off. What do you guys think? Have you run into this problem? Have you run high lockup ball joints? You know, let me know. Give me a little bit of input on here, because I'm kind of confused, kind of stumped. Thinking that'll work, but I don't really want to like mess with any structural integrity, which I don't really see any there. So, all right, could have positioned that jack just a little bit better, but it is what it is. I'm on the passenger side. It's the small side of the shop. You know, shop small in general. That is laid out. If you can go in correlation with the bottom of the doors to the wheel, it's probably like 3 inches higher than stock. You might say there's no spring in there. The reason I say laid out, because that ball joint's binding. I lifted it up by hand to where it would stop, and I put the jack under it. That's as high as it can go, which is pretty terrible if you ask me. But it does get worse. That right there is locked up. And when I say locked up, I'm not referring to locked up by the A-arm. I still got room under there, room under there. I'm talking about locked up as in, it's in a bind. You know, that upper ball joint is hitting the back there. I really think that this has less pivot than a stock ball joint from what I've looked at so far. That's why I'm putting a stock ball joint in that other arm. I'm going to put it in here. Yeah, I'm going to have some slop, and that will kind of add for some more articulation. I'm going to tighten it up best I can, try and kind of take that out of the way. But I want to say, with a factory 2500 ball joint, I had almost that much travel. I know I had more travel, whether it locked up that high. It may not be that, but I laid it out a lot lower. And in my opinion, that little bit of travel, I need to measure it just to see how much it is. But that little bit of travel isn't worth the headache of that and the safety factor of that. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm just not digging it so far. All right, so I did the measurement from laid out to locked up. Can you guess how much travel these high lockup ball joints are having? 6 inches. Dang! 6 inches of travel. That ain't gonna cut it. I don't really care who you are. It ain't gonna work. I mean, might as well bag your car for that much travel. And I kind of feel the main problem. You see that little lip down there? Oop, not right there. See that little lip right there? I'm considering machining that off. I know it kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of torn. It adds support for this not going through that ball joint, but there's also a shoulder machined in there. I'm almost positive. That will help with that. But I see some of the other ones, they don't have that, or that's actually machined into the round part of the uniball, which would be a better idea, I guess. That would actually slide under the retainer ring, because it would be the same height as the ball, if you kind of catch what I'm saying there. But these ones here, when they pivot over, that little lock, or that little lip, hits that ring right there. So, I mean, you see how much travel you have. That is not much at all. So, kind of trying to plan accordingly to see what I can do to get a better result out of these. And if you couldn't already tell by the box there, these are from Jose Castillo. Once again, using his products. Why? Because I like them. Had very, very good luck. These are prefabbed arms. I know a bunch of people put out a bunch of hate on them. Very possible there are some really crappy ones out there. His products have been awesome. That's, you know, why I made a video about his products, because I do like them. I've had very good luck out of them. Everything's fit nicely. It looks nicely. It's worked nicely. The ball joints, those are bushings. Those bushings, they pressed in. They didn't slide in. I didn't have to open the holes up or anything. I stuck a bushing in there. I pressed it in with a press. It went fairly easily. I had no complaints whatsoever. You know, they're in there snug. They're not moving around. Ball joint. Ball joint fits good. A stock ball joint fits great. Got clearance. No problems there. These, they don't fit so good. But this is, you know, an aftermarket part. You do need to modify stuff. A lot of people don't understand that. They think that these are just going to bolt up. These are bigger. You know, you can look at the bolt holes. There's more meat on the outside of that bolt hole. So you're going to have to modify stuff. You're going to have problems with it not lining up on the ball joint, on the back pocket of the ball joint, on the bottom of the ball joint. You know, you're going to have issues with that. You're going to have to open that hole up bigger. there's a weld on here. You got to take account for the room for that weld. Yeah, they could grind it down like they did the top, which I don't recommend. Yeah, it looks pretty, but you see all those divots? That's undercut. That's weak. You took all your weld away. You took all your strength away. Yeah, it looks better-ish if it didn't have undercut. But yeah, when it comes to something like that, you want weld on it. And that's what I was saying. You definitely don't want to grind that down. But you have to open up your hole to accommodate for that. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind, Jose Castillo, I dig his products, once again. So we ended up going with high lockup ball joints. And customer bought them, he wanted to use them, which is understandable. And still not really my thing, but it is what it is. So that right there is laid out completely. So yeah, laid out. Lowrider, I guess. Yeah. But when I was building this, you'll see in some other videos. I talked to the owner. He was like, "I'm all worried about high lockup. I'm not really worried about laying low." I was like, "Okay, it's his car. I'm just building it for him." So we went with the high lockup ball joints. Is what we got. I sent him a picture when I pulled it off the trailer. First time having it out of the shop. First thing he said, as low as the front end goes. Yeah, as low as it goes. That was kind of the whole topic behind this high lockup ball joint thing, but I don't know. I'll bring you guys in, see what we got going on. It can go a little bit lower. Just don't want anything to bind up, and I'll kind of bring you in and show you what I'm talking about. The reason I did it like this, those springs are going to break in, and when it does, the car's going to drop and it's going to go lower, and I don't want those ball joints getting in a bind. So I basically told the owner to drive it for a little bit. When they break in, we'll kind of see where they go from there. If it needs to have the springs cut a little bit more, we can cut them more. It's harder to add spring back than it is to take it away. So that being laid out, show you what it looks like with it locked up. There you go. That's pretty much locked up. I don't really want to push it much further. I don't have any chains on it. I did build some chain mounts. Wasn't really, when we first talked about doing a build, we weren't going to do any chain mounts. I kind of feel it needs chain mounts just due to them ball joints. I'm not really a fan of them. I built him a custom set of chain mounts. He asked if that was going to get in the way when he was plating the frame. I know he's plating the frame. We didn't really talk about that when building it. So I guess he's going to plate the frame. I don't know. So I just threw the chain mounts in the back seat for him whenever he gets ready to add those, so he can do it himself. But yeah, that's your lockup and your layout. So we'll let the springs break in a little bit, kind of go from there, try and get a little bit more travel. So if you haven't noticed already, this video is kind of all over the place. I do apologize for that. Between just filming and trying to figure stuff out with this front end, and my computer died, so I had to switch everything over from one computer to another. Footage got lost. Yeah, real fun stuff. But yeah, this whole build's kind of going to be that way. Once again, I apologize. We run into a bunch of headaches. A lot of it was just headache, having to figure stuff out and make this work with that, which shouldn't be working together. But all in all, it'll come out to be a pretty good ending. But yeah, it is what it is. Can't really go back and redo it, unfortunately. But I do have some more videos coming out on this one with the rear end. I'll do a once overall of the car. Let you guys check everything out. Just kind of showing the front end because that's what's going on in this video. But I appreciate you guys watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Sorry, it wasn't really too much of a how-to on Lincolns. No Lincoln master here, I can do them, but I don't know. My buddy down in Orlando that I built a Lincoln for back in the day, he's got another one. Looks just like the one he sold, which is crazy. I got a funny story about that too. But yeah, he wants to redo it. So maybe that one will be a little bit more in-depth video. Kind of how to, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, as I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you guys watching through this rigmarole of a video. But we'll see you on the next one. Remember, you won't know what you can do till you try. That's it. That's all I got for you. Appreciate it.